Hi boys and girls, welcome to Storytime with me, Journee. Today we're going to read Think Big by Nancy Carlson. When Vinney came home from school, Mom asked, "How was your day?" "Not so good," said Vinney. On the way to school, George called me shrimp. At the library, I couldn't reach the chapter books. The big kids took my 4-square ball at recess. And the lunch lady didn't even see me standing in line. I'm so small, my teacher didn't see me raising my hand. When she finally noticed me, I got the smallest part in the class play, a ladybug. The worst part about being small is that no one passes me the basketball. And I'm a great shot. Being small is no fun, Vinney said Mom. Someday you'll be bigger, but until then, you just have to think big. The next morning, Vinney jumped out of his bed. "Today I'm going to think big." On the way to school, George still said, "Hi, you shrimp." Vinney kept thinking big and said, "How's the weather up there?" When Vinney went to the library, he told himself to think big and chose a huge chapter book. But Vinney discovered he wasn't ready for big chapter books, so the librarian found a book that was the perfect size for him. Vinney was thinking big when he challenged the older kids to a game of Foursquare. He lost, but it was lots of fun. At lunch, Vinney was determined to make the lunch lady notice him. He walked through the line on his tippy toes. You look like you have a big appetite," the lunch lady said. Then she gave him an extra piece of pizza and 2 cookies to help him grow. Vinney got as big as he could. When his teacher needed a helper and she picked him to clean the blackboard, even though he could only reach half of it. During play practice, Vinney even sang big, so his teacher gave him a bigger part, Prince Charming. But when Vinney had to kiss the princess, he wished he was a ladybug again. "Yuck, Doc Vinney." Vinney remembered to think big in gym class, and he grabbed the basketball. "No one can catch me," thought Vinney. He dribbled the ball right into Cody, the biggest kid in his class. Uh-oh, it's time to think small. Vinney ran right under Cody's legs and scored a 3-pointer. When Vinney got home, Mom asked, "Did you think big today?" "I sure did," said Vinney. "Thinking big is great, but sometimes I'm glad to be small." The end.
Hi, Journee.
Hi, Daddy.
How are you today?
Good.
Did you have fun reading that book?
Yeah, I sure did, Daddy.
And what was the name of that book again?
The name of the book was Think Big by Nancy Carlson.
Okay. So, what was this book about?
The book about was Vinney got picked by the older kids. He did.
Well, that's a part of it. But what do you think the main idea of the book is? So look at the title of the book. What does it say?
Think big.
So when the story first started, Vinney had a little bit of a problem. What was the issue?
Well, on the way to school, George called him Shrimp. Hey, Shrimp.
Right. Yeah, and Vinney didn't like that. He thought George was trying to pick on him, right? Okay. So what did Vinney want to? So since Vinney thought it was bad to be called Shrimp, which kind of means that you're calling someone small, what did Vinney want to be instead?
A big kid.
Okay. All right. So what did Vinney find out on his journey in this book as he had to learn about the benefits of being big, but then also the benefits of being
small?
Right.
Well, at the he was determined to walk through the line of the lunch lady on his tippy toes.
Okay. And that was him doing what?
Thinking.
Thinking what?
Thinking big. Like
Okay.
the older kids.
Okay.
They can walk like that.
Right. Right. Well, he did think big in that instance. That was really smart. Who told him to think big?
His mom.
Right. That was awesome advice. But when it was time for him to play basketball, what did he do?
He ran. He said, what did he say?
He said it was time to think what?
Small. So he ran right under Cardi's legs. The biggest kid in his class.
Wow, that was an awesome move, wasn't it? So that was an example of how sometimes
he thought no one could catch him, but when he dribbled the ball right into Cardi, he ran right under his legs and scored a 3-pointer.
And that was an example of when it's good to be small, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes there's an advantage to being big, and then sometimes
small.
there's an advantage to being small. That's right. All right. Would you
Would
you recommend this book to other kids to read?
Yeah.
Out of would you give it 1 thumbs up or 2 thumbs up?
Well, I would give it 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. All right. Well, that was awesome. You did a great job reading that story. Can't wait to do another story time with Journey with you coming up soon. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody out there in YouTube land?
Bye. Bye, boys and girls. See you next time. Thumbs up to you guys.
And don't forget to
subscribe.